Playing guitar fills between the vocal lines is a very important skill for a country guitarist to have. And today that's what we're going to talk about. Hi, my name is Mateus Canteri. I'm a professional musician here in Nashville, Tennessee, where playing hot chicken picking licks is the only way to survive. So let's get to it. I want to share with you guys a few ideas to help you come up with interesting guitar fills for whenever you're playing with a band, you know, and you need to fill in the gaps between the vocals. Let's use the song Ramblin Fever by Merle Haggard as an example, okay? So the first idea is to use part of the melody of the vocals as a foundation for your guitar fill. So the first line on that song is, my hat don't hang on the same nail too long. If we take the ending of that phrase, same nail too long, we have the fourth, major third, and then the root, right? And then the song goes to C. That's when we have the gap where we can play our fill. So we would have to find those intervals in relation to C. So, right? So this is what we have. My hat don't hang on the same nail too long. I can't stand to hear the same old song. And I don't leave the highway long enough to bog down in the mud. I have rambling fever in my blood. So you see how with just that one phrase you can play fills over the whole verse, you know. Now something else you can do is, if you don't want to play those exact same intervals that he's using on the vocal melody, you can use the rhythm of it. So ba-da-da, but use different notes. Let's do it just using the G minor pentatonic, which works over that whole progression. See what we get. My hat don't hang on the same nail too long. I can't stand to hear the same old song. I don't leave the highway long enough to bog down in the mud. I have rambling fever in my blood. See how just using the rhythm sometimes helps, you know? A lot of it comes down to experimenting and finding out what intervals you like over which chord. Here's something else you can do. Just try to come up with a rhythm pattern for all those little vocal gaps. The same one. My hat don't hang on the same nail too long. Da 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 da. And I can't stand to hear the same old song. Ba da da da. And I don't leave the highway long enough to bog down in the mud. Da 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 da. I have rambling fever in my blood. So now we have that da 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 da. You can think of it as a drum fill, for example. And then let's just make sure that last note is the most important one, in my opinion, right? It's the one that lasts longer, so da-da-da-da. So that last note should be a note that's in the chord that's ringing at that time. So if we do, my hat don't hang on the same nail too long, da-da-da-da. That last note has to be one of the notes of the C chord, so it could be C, you know, the root, E, the major third, or G. And then the other ones could be anything as long as you land on that chord tone, you know. So for example, I could do, so basically here I'm doing a chromatic phrase, right, to the major third here, to E, and then resting on C, which is the root. So my hat don't hang on the same nail too long, and I can't stand to hear the same old song. See, I did it completely different here, but the same rhythm. So I started on the major third and ended on the fifth of D. So again, it ends on a chord tone. You're emphasizing a really good note, you know, that's going to sound good with the band. But the rest of it, it's up to you, according to your taste. Like if you're feeling more like bluesy, go for the minor pentatonic, but make sure you land on the chord tone. If you're feeling more like, you know, feel good, happy sound, go for the major pentatonic, you know, or you can use diatonic modes if you want to add more melodic quality to it, or chromatic passing tones if you want to make it more jazzy, more colorful, you know. So it's up to you. As long as you land on a chord tone, you're good. So I'll give you another example over that same part. So my hat don't hang on the same nail too long. I can't stand to hear the same old song. I don't leave the highway long enough to bog down in the mud. I have Ramblin Fever in my blood. Now that you have that rhythm pattern, something else you can do is respond to it in an interesting way. So that rhythm pattern is what we call a motif. So you have that motif, ba-da-da-da. So it starts like 3 quick notes and then a longer note, right? Da-da-da-da. What if we add those 3 quick notes again after that long note, you know, just playing with that same motif. So now instead of ba-da-da-da, we have ba-da-da-da, ba-da-da. My hat don't hang on the same nail too long. I can't stand to hear the same old song. I don't leave the highway long enough to bog down in the mud. I have Ramblin Fever in my blood. So that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this lesson. If you did, make sure you click like, subscribe, and I also have a brand new instructional video for sale. It's the Essential Country Guitar Method, and it's got everything you need to play country guitar. Whether you are a country guitar player already or if you just play some other style of guitar, I guarantee if you work with this material, you'll be able to play a country gig. And it's got everything about phrasing, you know, over chord changes, using major pentatonics, minor pentatonic, mixing both together, double stops, pedal steel bends, lap steel lines, hybrid picking, all that good stuff. You know, it's all there. So make sure you guys check that out. All the links are in the description. You can also book an online lesson with me through my website. Again, all the links are in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.